Are you tight and weak on your hip flexors as well as one-sided hip and back stiffness and pain due to prolonged sitting position with difficulty hip opening? And it's possible you're suffering from frozen hip. Hi, my name is Annie. Welcome back to my channel, Annie Pilates Physical Therapist. And if you're new to my channel is about Pilates, yoga, and physical therapy. And in this video, I'll be discussing about why frozen hip happens and how to finally unlock. Yes, you can unlock a tight hip if you've been suffering and you notice you can't even cross the leg because of pain and weakness. So in this video, I'll also be discussing amazing testimonies from my recent graduates of my back master class. I have two amazing students. Carrie, who's having 2 years of frozen hip, finally opened the tightness on her hip and learning how to reset and engage her core muscles and realign the pelvic alignment that happens when you have one-sided weakness. There's more pressure if you're sitting on your buttocks a lot for work, if you're a desk job, and then with one-sided weakness, one pelvic alignment is off. No matter how much you open that hip, it won't realign if your SI joint is also not connected and your pelvic alignment is not on par. Let's watch Carrie's testimony right now. I'm so excited to share it to you guys because finally, after 2 years of frozen hip on one side, which is actually her right hip, plus her history of trauma from falling from a rock climbing experience 20 years ago, find tight hip and finally to start moving it and be active again and really engage her deep core muscles. The next student that I would love to share to you guys is Gina from south of France, and she was suffering from a lot of back pain due to history of neck surgery that resulted to almost like paralyzed symptoms down her legs, her arms, that she can't even move, 2 years of buckling her knees, and she can't even step up on the stairs. So let's watch Gina's amazing testimonies on how she could finally go up and down the stairs.
And so far, how's the program? Have you tried these exercises? Let me check.
What is my goal? Well, I'd like to get rid of the back pain and to walk better. Using the exercises is starting to help me. I'm getting a little stronger.
Yeah,
I'm on a cane right now, and I'd like to go get off the cane.
Yes, you did everything.
Yeah, I finished week 1. I just finished the last.
Wow.
The
Job, Gina. And how's your pain today? Since you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
How's week 1 and how's your pain since you did the week 1?
It's been, but I had a little pain today. But once I did the class, I got better. So that helped.
Good. Has just chronic pain, Gina, right? You don't have a medical.
No, I had spinal surgery 3 years ago, and C4, C5, and
yes,
all of that.
About that neck.
And it had gotten worse since the surgery. You know, I just wasn't. I've just not been able to move like I want to.
Do you think it's the doctor's fault the way they did it?
You know, it wouldn't surprise me, you know, when a week after surgery, when this is as high as you can raise your arms, and they're going, oh, that'll come back in 3 months. Like, not really.
So right now,
I can now. I mean, it all came back. I got it back, but I mean, I spent months. Like, I felt, they're all calling me Tyrannosaurus Rex arms because that's as far as I can.
Because it's so irritated that your connective tissues are pulling your nerves.
Right. Well, when they go into C5, they explain there's like 3 nerve roots and they have to move all that around. So they did something to it. So I had
to touch it. I think, yeah.
Tingling in my hand. I have tingling in my hands now, but I had a lot of neuropathy in my legs and so that's caused some issues. I know there's nerve damage everywhere, but
before the surgery, were you having numbness also or nothing? It's just pain on the neck.
I'm trying to think. I had just started, but before I had the surgery, the numbness, but it wasn't like to the extent it is now.
Oh no. Was it bone to bone? That's why they want to put a cage and stuff like that? Or?
Yeah, they did. They went in, they put spacers. They put 2 spacers in. They fused my neck, which I wish I had thought about doing it differently. But they went and they did all of that in back up here. They did C5 to C7 and went through and did all of that. And then after I came up with this, he decided, the doctor came back and said, well, I see some narrowing in C4, so I think we should go back in and open up. I'm going, I think I will wait.
Maybe change doctors, maybe? There's a lot.
Yeah, he wanted to go back in, and I'm like, no, I don't think so.
Is he an older doctor?
No, he's a young guy. I was really surprised. Yeah, he's a young guy.
On his 30s?
Yes.
Maybe he
Yeah.
doesn't have experience yet. That's the problem when you're too young.
That it probably is. And I just was really surprised at the way it went, because I woke up, I felt great after the surgery. Everything went well.
Mhm.
And then this happened, and I had the most incredible nerve pain I've ever had. I would wake up every night in agony. That went on for 3 weeks. I did not sleep for 3 weeks. It was terrible. It was the worst experience ever.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Now this was how many years ago now?
That was 3 years ago,
3
December.
years ago. So now that's why you're diving deeper to our core programs, and you even
I
joined
just-
the beginner program on my other class. Have you been doing that too, the core back immersion beginner?
No, I haven't started. I haven't
Yeah.
did that. I just was focusing on this.
Yes, focus on this.
Yeah, and to see where I could go. I have to say, I have gotten a lot stronger. I couldn't believe how much
Wow.
my pain was gone the first week, and I thought, wow. And then my strength is good. I can lift my left leg higher than I could before. I could barely lift it. So
That's
like,
what I've heard from my students this week too, because I have the Monday evenings, and she could
Yes.
she feels like a feather now on her legs.
Yeah.
After 2.5 years since her postpartum, she's postpartum with back pain.
Oh, wow.
And umbilical hernia, diastasis recti, and she's so afraid to move.
Yeah.
I told her, you have to do this. Don't be afraid. Put some heat. She forgot to put heat. If you have a lot of excruciating pain, once you put heat, it helps the inflammation, the soft tissue warming up, and then start moving your body. That's what's called therapeutic exercise.
Yeah.
And it's so gentle. It's not like a yoga. It's not even like a yoga that's doing crazy moves.
Yes. But I was so surprised. And I really thought, because I've been going through this for so long, I thought, we'll see if this works. If I get a little bit of, movement out of this, or I get a little less pain, that'd be great. I have like no pain right now.
Wow.
Other than my pelvis being a little wonky, and I do my little exercise twice a day, night and evening. And I do the Mackenzie thing every night before I go to bed. But I have no pain. I just need to be able to move my leg a little better.
Yes. And then you're getting there. What color band are you using now?
Oh, I'm on like the lightest I can go. I haven't added any strength yet.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. That makes complete sense, because we move, and like I'm doing moving right now. I'm not really thinking about moving.
Yes,
I'm just
look,
moving.
like your fingers. See how much faster that is. This is amazing. God's creation for our body.
Yeah.
That no robotics, no AI can do.
Yeah, no, we don't think about blinking. There's so many things that our bodies do that really. You don't really think about blinking.
Even when you were telling me your story, it gave me goosebumps. That's not me. That's like my reaction. That's why goosebumps happen. Like, the emotion.
Oh, well, I really appreciate your time, and I'm so glad you popped up in my Pinterest feed one day.
Oh, was it Pinterest? You found me in Pinterest?
Yes, I found you, and then I went from there to YouTube and just kind of kept going. But
see, Pinterest is powerful engine too for search engine.
And that just happened. I was looking at it for other things, and it just kind of popped up, and that went, oh, there we go. So I've had you around in my feed for a while, and I've been looking at things, and so I'm really glad I found you, because this has helped me a lot more than other therapies have helped. So I'm hopeful that I'm going to keep going.
Thank you, Gina. That touched my heart. I love your feedback. It gives me so much joy helping people, because I'm so passionate about healing people. Because I love in my clinic, but I love it also that I can't touch but across the world, like you're in France right now, but you're healing there.
Yeah. And this was good, because I thought I don't want to be sitting around for 8 weeks and not doing anything, and this is perfect, because I can do this.
Yes, because when you're home in San Diego, it's a different world.
It is a different world, a busier world.
So I'll see you in 2 weeks, okay, Gina?
Okay. You need to. If you want to, I'll send you my phone number, and you can text me when you get to San Diego. And
just put it on the email. Just email me.
Okay, I will do that.
Take care. Have a great boating trip.
I will. Take care. See you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.
Isn't that amazing? No matter what your age group, you can finally regain your core strength, improve your overall posture, and regain life without back pain. So if you're interested in joining my back masterclass, you can check out the link down below. First come, first serve basis, as I will be opening on April 27, 2024, Saturday at 10 a.m. It's a first come, first serve basis. Once I reach 20 students, I will be closing the class. I like it to be small and intimate, so I could really guide you safely and effectively, whatever your back pain goes, to finally revive your deep core strength and enjoy your summer 2024. And if you have time and you haven't watched my free 6-part video series, please watch the series over here. Start from day 1 all the way to bonus videos. So today is my bonus number 3. Learn about proper breathwork, deep core engagement, and revive your deep core strength, improve your mobility, flexibility for absolute beginners. So let's begin the program. So if this video is for piriformis syndrome with SI joint dysfunction and weakness on your hip flexors. So my student Carrie, she's asking on how to maintain her hips. Now she finally unlocked it. How can she make it move and prevent it from happening? Because according to study, there's a lot of frozen shoulder that happens idiopathically, even without injury, because of lifestyle. If you're always in the computer, you ended up with frozen shoulder with tightness and impingement on your rotator cuff muscles. So with our hip joints, we also have a lot of hip internal, external rotators that gets really tight and weak first before your bigger muscle groups, such as your glues, hamstrings, and quadriceps. That's why those deeper muscles needs to be activated as much as you can, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you're sitting a lot, if your lifestyle is a lot of sitting in the computer, so my recommendation is to get a standing desk and a rocker board. A rocker board is when you can always shift your body weight so it's not too much on your joints. So in this video, this is a maintenance program. I want to make sure you maintain that pelvic alignment. So if you have one-sided weakness and one side of your hip is lower, you want to keep that one side. So for Carrie, her right hip is her lower side. So I showed her how to lift that technique. We call it MET, or muscle energy technique. So let me demonstrate. So if your problem side, for me, is my left side for my car accident. So my left hip is always lower. So sometimes I see myself leaning on one side. I want to lift that weaker side. And that's how I maintain and reconnect my pelvic alignment. So first, with your hips down, knees, feet down together, hands on your side of your hip. You start with the bridge first. As you breathe in, breathe out, zip it up, and roll down one vertebrae at a time. And once you lower down, you can check the iliac crest, which is the top part of your pelvis, and reconnect. So for me, they're aligned. I'm always checking my pelvic alignment because I gave birth twice as well with C-section. So one side of my pelvis sometimes get disconnected from my SI joint with sitting lifestyle, driving, or being in the computer. So that's why I have a standing desk. I always try my best to stand up during my editing time for my YouTube videos. So once you recheck, and let's pretend this is lower, I'm gonna lift my left knee to 90 degrees, place my both hands on one side, take a deep breath through your nose, and exhale, zip it up, and press against your knee. Inhale. Exhale, zip it up, and press. At least 2 deep breaths in one position in 90 degrees. Do that 10 times. Let's try it again. Inhale, tabletop 90 degrees. Exhale, zip it up, and press. You're gonna feel that deep ache on your hip. And that's why Carrie finally established that hip opening. She hasn't reconnected to that tight hip that's been frozen for 2 years. So when you do this simple isometrics, you're contracting the muscles, you're building more muscles without movement first, so you can manage it. Because within a lot of pain, you can't overstretch. You can't force yourself to stretch. So you want to make sure you slowly build it up and then down. We did 2 repetitions. Let's do 5 reps today. Take a deep breath and press. So it feels good to reconnect before you do your Pilates, before you lift weights, before you do any running or high impact activities, so you don't get injured and you're always realigned. So I could really feel fatigue now on this side, especially I did a lot of deadlifts the other day. Sometimes you feel weaker after workouts because you're building muscle. And that's why you have to be mindful to make sure you're not hurting yourself when you're doing high impact activities. Inhale, exhale, last set. And you might feel, oh, I'm getting fatigued now. And that's why even gentle isometric is crucial. So the left side is my weaker side. I'm doing my isometric now with my right side. I'm not going to press in the front because this is my stronger side. This is the elevated one. I want this to go further down on my right and elevate my left. So I'm interlock my fingers, placing it behind my thighs, keeping it 90 degrees. This time I'm going to extend, pushing it away my body with my interlocked fingers. So I'm pressing against my hands as I breathe in, breathe out, zip it up. And when you breathe out, you want to make sure you tighten your core, abdominal bracing to engage your pelvic floor. Last deep breath in. Inhale, exhale, press out, away from my body. And then that's 1 repetition. We'll just do 5 reps as well. Interlock your fingers, press away. And you might feel some ache as well on this side. So for me, because I notice I lean a lot on my right side, this is my dominant side. So I have a different kind of ache on my right side after doing deadlifts and high impact activities. So my recommendation, if you have excruciating pain, don't do any heavy lifting for now. Start building your core safely. And you can join my back masterclass so you slowly build the strength before proceeding to any lifting activities. 2 more to go. Inhale, exhale, press out away from my body. Last one. Inhale, exhale, press out. Well done. So after doing those hip alignment now, I could lift both legs. If this is too difficult to lift both legs up to double tabletop because of back pain, you can just lift your heels up, toes pointing down on the floor for support. Make a fist. Place both hands between your knees and squeeze your knees together. If you can't reach between your knees, you can place pillows or a soft ball between your knees and squeeze your knees tight together as much as you can. So as I said, for those who can lift their legs up to double tabletop, press your knees. But for those with weakness, my recommendation is just press the pillows between your knees. As you breathe in, breathe out. So what we're doing, we are gluing them together. Your hips, your pelvis, your sacrum, and your core engagement. Inhale. Expand your rib cage. Exhale, squeeze. And do that 10 repetitions as well. So after trying to squeeze it together, this time we're going to try to separate them apart. My recommendation is to wrap around a belt, or for those who can manage lifting your legs up, placing both hands at the outside of your thighs. As you breathe in, breathe out, press out. Inhale, exhale. So this is isometrics for hip abduction. So after doing those lovely isometric, now we can slowly strengthen your deep hip external and internal rotators by wrapping an elastic band around your thighs. Inhale, exhale. We're going to do a gentle hip fall out. So I'm going to slowly lower one knee out to the side. So if you have piriformis syndrome, we're slowly opening it without twisting your spine, keeping your pelvis aligned. And feel that hip opening on your hip groin area. As you breathe in, expand, exhale, zip it up, and back to the center. Alternating left and right, so I could feel my left side is a little bit tighter than my right. And that's why, as I said, when you have that alignment, one side is lower, there's more pressure points when you sit a lot, and you might be ending up leaning and more pressure on your left side. So I'm gently hip opening, left and right. Inhale, exhale. Feels so good on your hip, especially your hip groin area as well, wherein you ended up very tight. Like as I said, it's like having a frozen hip. Inhale, exhale. I'm gently pressing my hip groin as well as a self-massage as I open my hip down. Slow and steady. Inhale, exhale. Last set. So my recommendation is to do 10 repetitions as well. And after doing that hip opening, now you can do butterfly stretch, opening your knees out, even without the elastic band. The elastic band might roll up, and that's fine. This is just a stretch. Feel that hip opening really deeply as you breathe in, breathe out. Finally, you are unlocking your hips. And sometimes we hold our trauma on our hips, and that's why we want to let go whatever traumatic experience you have. For Carrie, as I said, she fell off a rock climbing experience, and that's a lot of trauma. For me, I went through snowboarding in a very icy mountain, and I didn't realize hurt my pelvic floor as well as my deep hip muscles. And I remembered I can't even open my knees out for many years. It's almost like I lock hips as well. That's why I dive in deeper to my core. I went to study about Pilates and then yoga, and finally with physical therapy, with proper breath work, I learned more about my body and how to listen to our body and not force our body, because sometimes our body will react on how we think, how our mindset is. Breathe in and breathe out. And after doing that beautiful hip opening, now we can do some gentle bridging, placing the elastic band around your thighs again. Breathe in, breathe out, lift your hips up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, roll down one vertebrae at a time. After doing 10 repetitions of a gentle bridge, once you reach the bridge, now you can progress with a little bit hip opening against the band while maintaining that glutes activation. And do that 10 repetitions as well. As you open your exhale, inhale as you go center, exhale as you open. After doing 10 repetitions, roll down. Week by week, you can challenge. Depends on your tolerance. Now you can do a figure of 4. Now you can slowly open one knee out. Figure of 4 targets your piriformis muscle, which is a tiny muscle on your buttocks inside, which is one of the areas that irritates the sciatic nerve, where the sciatic nerve passes through or behind that muscle. So now, from this position, you do bridge. And if this is too difficult, don't be too hard on yourself. There's always next week. And you're going to feel that hip opening more. As you try to keep your pelvis balanced, exhale down. And once you reach down to the floor, now you can hug your knees to your chest. And if you can't hug your knees to your chest, for absolute beginners, you can just press your knee out and then in, back and forth. But for those with a little bit high level, you can hug your knees to your chest. And once you hug your knees to your chest, grab your hand behind your right thigh. So I'm hugging both knees to my chest with my left knee bent, my left foot on the top of my right thigh. And then I'm slowly extending my right hamstrings. So that's a different dynamic movement to maintain that hip mobility flow, as I was saying, to prevent frozen hip. Dorsiflex your ankle as you slowly bend your knee back down and then lower both knees down, placing your right foot back to the starting position. Again, so bridge first. So this is a beautiful movement pattern. As you inhale, exhale, zip it up, slowly roll down one vertebrae at a time, hug your knees to your chest, feel that deeper stretch on your piriformis and your hip external rotators. As I said, there's 6 of them. And then extend your leg, dorsiflex, and then down. The hip joint is like the ball and socket joint. It's the same with our shoulder. The difference between the shoulder and the hip, this is a shallow joint. This is the deeper hip joint, deeper multiplanar movement. And that's why it gets stuck as well, just like the shoulder. If there's frozen shoulder, I believe there's a frozen hip that people never realize we have to prioritize and move as well. And there's a study, those with this frozen shoulder history, there's a chance they could have another one. The same thing with the frozen hip. If you have a history and you finally unlock your hip, there's a chance without being consistent with your exercises, guess what? Frozen hip could happen again with the higher incidence. So you want to make sure you include this even a few times a week. And after doing in one side, now you can switch to the other side so you can feel the difference between the two. So now start bridging. Exhale, hug your knees to your chest, and once you hug it, extend the opposite leg. I'm extending my left this time, and once I lock my knee on my left, I dorsiflex. If you can't lock yet, that's fine. Slowly lower your foot down in the dorsiflex position, and then slowly lower both your knees down and then your left foot planted down to the starting position. Let's do 2 more to go. Inhale, exhale, bridge, single leg. You're gonna feel a little bit difficult stabilizing your pelvis because this could be your weaker side. This is my weaker side, so I could feel a little bit difference. Hugging my knees to my chest, I could feel a different release on my right piriformis. As I exhale, extend my left leg and then dorsiflex and then roll down. one vertebrae at a time. And my recommendation is 10 repetitions as well. And after those beautiful single leg bridges in figure 4, now you can get a foam roller to elevate your tight and weak hip flexors. And from this position, I want to open your hip flexors. So you can start in double tabletop. Hold on to the foam roller. If you feel like the foam roller is hurting your pelvis, my recommendation is to get a roll towel for absolute beginners, and then slowly tap your foot, 1 foot at a time as you exhale. Inhale, exhale. And do this 10 repetitions as well. And once you warm up your hip flexors, now you can hug one knee towards your chest, extend the opposite leg. And once you extend, you slowly straight leg raise down. Inhale, exhale, lift up. And then dorsiflex, and then exhale down. And do that 10 times. You are really opening that tight hip flexors that could cause a frozen hip as well. And you want to make sure you lower and touch the floor or the mat as much as you can in the dorsiflex position. Tippy toes as you lift, dorsiflex as you go down for a deeper stretch. And after 10 times, you switch to the other side. I'm bending my left knee to my chest, extending my right leg this time. Tippy toes, so first plantar flex. Exhale as you lift, dorsiflex as you go down. And this time, I could feel my right hip flexors are a little bit tighter than my left, and that's where you can find imbalance on your body and which one you need to really focus on to open. So that's why with tight piriformis on one side, you might find tight hip flexors on the opposite side, because as I said, your right hip is higher, so your hip flexors are tighter, right? And then your left pelvis, for me, my left pelvis is lower, so my right hip flexors are tighter on my right because my pelvis on my right is higher. So that's how we call the lower cross syndrome sometimes, which is anterior pelvic tilt, and there's a crisscross pattern with our body. And that's it. I'm hoping you learn a lot about how to unlock your frozen hip in this lovely video. And I'm hoping you got inspired on my lovely students who finally regained their core strength and revived their tight hips, weak pelvic floor, weak deep core muscles with my back masterclass. And if you're interested, please try my 6-part video series first and my bonus videos before proceeding. And I'll be reopening on April 27 for first come, first serve basis. So if you have time today, watch this video about my episode 1 on what is core back immersion. And this is my lovely video also about my lateral pelvic tilt with spasmodic quadratus lumborum pain. Until my next video training, always remember, be safe, be well, and healthy you. Bye!